good evening, good whatever it is, wherever you are. My name is Katie O, and this is Moon Mom and Musings. Welcome back to my living room for another astrology Peephole for today, the 22nd of October, 2021. We're in a waning gibbous moon in the sign of Taurus, Sun still in Libra, airy energy, and a grounding Tauran moon to harbor the ships that brought in the changes. Yeah. With the 22, I got this very Two of Wands kind of vibe here, and it was very it's very waiting for the ships to come in. So here we go. The ship is in. Ships at harbor. Yeah, I'm gonna write that down. Big changes have happened for us. This full moon was big. Shifts of energy, unblocking, release, all kinds of lovely stuff. Optimism has come back to us with Jupiter going direct, and we're starting to get a better handle on communication and intellect and all the things that are Mercury, health, etc. with Mercury going direct. That was the 18th of October for any of you guys who have not followed. But it's really interesting because I also heard decisions. It reminded me a little bit of the energy of well, first of all, I'm being called to mention to you guys that I have a live called decisions from, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. So if you go to my Instagram, you can go check it out in my IGTV. There was a live entitled that. So maybe for some of you, there's some messages in that one. But there was for a while I was channeling the Fat Boy Slim song, Weapon of Choice. You can go with this, or you can go with that, or you can go with this, or you can go with that, or you can go with this, or you can go with that, or you can go with us. Yeah. But then as I was shuffling up the cards for the card of the day, I heard everybody's changing and I don't feel the same. So there's been some sort of there's decisions to be made. We're figuring out our choices. We're weighing out our options. We know that the ships have come in, but we just have to figure out which one to do it with. And we understand that there's been big change happening, and it's everybody's changing. Everybody's changing. For some of you, you're wondering, why is this happening? And for some of you, it's left you totally different. It's completely changed the game for you. You've had this complete change of heart and a complete change of way of being, and it's just different. It's just different. We have a couple of aspects I want to talk about today. First and foremost, the moon is in conjunction with Uranus. All right, Uranus is retrograde still, and they're both in Taurus. So moon and Uranus conjunct, I would be tempted to say, oh God, help us. Invasion of the body snatchers with our subconscious with regards to the tower energy with this unexpected change energy of Uranus. It can be intense. It can be intense. This is very Aquarian energy as well. 11th house. For those of you guys that follow that, there could be very strong themes and all of that right now with regards to your subconscious. Either way, normally I would worry, especially with Taurus's ability to have kind of the tough love vibe. But with the themes of yesterday, being that we approach things differently now. We feel differently about things because we've removed some unnecessary stuff from our past. So we're not reacting the same way to tests and challenges anymore. It's an interesting energy because it's kind of like, yeah, okay, we understand that things might be exploding around us, but we're okay with it. We're ready for whatever comes. We fortified our heart spaces. We fortified our castles. We fortified our own sense of self. Our subconscious is more in tune with us, or we're more in tune with our subconscious. Things are just flowing a lot more easily now. And we've fortified our towers in some positive way now. Yeah, it's like that energy of the tower normally is things that are not built on solid foundations coming crumbling to the ground. But the house don't fall when the bones are good, right? If the foundation is created correctly, then there's no tower, there's no crumbling. Yeah, even when a big storm comes through, the structure stays sturdy. So what I was saying yesterday, if you've not seen yesterday's Peephole, maybe go back and watch it as well. We're just weathering the storm a lot better. We're not reacting in the same way that we once did. Okay, the moon is also sextiling Neptune, which is retrograde in the sign of Pisces, which is that scary soothsayer vibe. I describe it often is Neptune can be a watery energy. It can be like looking through a window with Vaseline all over it. You see the shapes, but you can't see the details. So when it's direct, it can be a bit of a confusing, bit of a dreamy energy. But if you are in balance with it, it brings great intuition, which is delightful. When Neptune is in retrograde, and especially in its home sign of Pisces, which is a water energy, which is all about intuition and dreams and all that stuff as well. It's like the inception of Neptunian energy. But when it's retrograde, it becomes this like very clear, prophetic energy. And I heard, when you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. Yeah. What do you wish for, my friends? Especially with regards to your stability and security with the moon in Taurus, all right? What do you wish for? What do you wish for? What is it that you want? Like, what is it? Like, clear that stuff out. Because you've wished for all kinds of lovely things in the past, but I'm hearing that maybe you were wishing because you just didn't want to be where you were, right? You were like, oh, I want a relationship because I don't want to be alone. But things are different now, and you're okay. You're not alone. You realize that even in independence, you're not isolated. So yeah, maybe there's just different things that you should be wishing for now that you've got a more grounded sense of your emotions after all of these changes that have been happening lately. Moon is also squaring Jupiter. You may feel stuck right now. Okay, Taurian energy can also be the hooves in the mud, not wanting to budge. All right, but it's all for the luck of it. They said it's all for the luck of it. Jupiter is an expansive energy. It's very lucky. It's optimistic. It's great. And Jupiter just come direct, which makes it more at home in itself. And we talked about it when it came direct. And still now, it's undergoing the process of saying, okay, I knew I needed to change. I knew I needed to expand. The shit hit the fan at one point in the last year or so. And I realized I needed to expand. It took me a while to figure out that I was ready to do it. And then once I did it, I went about it in the wrong way for a little while. But then once I kind of got my wits about me and realized that I didn't have to be afraid of everything around me, then I actually started expanding and growing in more experimental ways. I'm hearing you tried a lot of different things. Some things worked, some things didn't. But now is the energy in this retrograde shadow of Jupiter, which is not that prevalent, but still something for food for thought, is how do we take these changes that did work for us, but integrate them into our daily life without interfering with our ability to live our life. All right. So this energy right now is we are being very luckily expanded. We're being optimistic. We know that good things are coming. But we're still just kind of letting our emotions catch up with all the stuff that's been going on. And yes, you might still feel stuck. You might still be put on hold, but it's all unraveling slowly. All right. The last one that I want to talk. Oh, hello. Yeah, that's my house. The last one that I want to talk about is Mars is squaring Pluto. All right. So Pluto now calls Mars to task before Mars changes sign. Mars is going to move over to the sign of Scorpio on the 30th. So we have about a little more than a week left of this kind of an energy. And in the last week of Mars being in very uncomfortable for it, Libra, where it makes baby steps and it understands that it needs to balance things and it needs to put in sometimes tedious efforts in order to get results that it needs. It's extra compassion, where sometimes we usually just move forward and brush past things and just power through, right? We need to bring in the compassion. Well, I've talked about this before, that often before a planet changes sign, it has a meeting with Pluto, and Pluto's like, so what have you learned? What are you going to do differently now? So Pluto's calling Mars into the tent and saying, hey, how did you deal or act in the past that wasn't balanced? All right. Look within for these answers. They want you to look within. They want you to be able to change and transform something. With Pluto is the planet of transformation, the planet of death and rebirth. It's the farthest one from the sun, which makes it sort of the darkest one in some argumentative stages, let's say. But it's misunderstood energy in a big way. So maybe you've misunderstood your things before, and now you've come to a greater understanding. So you're able to understand that sitting in the darkness is not the scariest thing in the world, right? Whatever that means for you. We're coming to a better understanding of things, which allows us to set plans in place for how we actually maintain things, how we continue to grow and transform without making ourselves without rushing things, without jumping back and forth, without just making it harder on ourselves, I'm hearing. Pluto's in Capricorn, right? And it's direct now. But Pluto in Capricorn wants you to consider the devil, right? How does it serve you? How does it not serve you? If you can make friends with the devil, it can be a very beneficial energy that shows you contrast of where you are in order to self-check in. But if you're still seeing the devil as like something that's going to consume you, you might still be kind of struggling with these energies right now. But the thing is that it's what does this say? Pluto in Capricorn wants you to ask yourself, do these how do these old constructs that I'm in the process of releasing keep me from reaching the stars, right? Moon sextiling Neptune wants to know what it is that we truly wish for with our heart song. Pluto in Capricorn is just an overlying energy of you want the heart song, and you have to figure out the way through the woods to get to it, because it's not just given to you, right? We're going to pull a card of the day from the Universal Folk Oracle. I really like this deck, and I don't use it that often. It feels brand new, and that's a problem for me, because cards that have the most love look a little tattered, right? But it's because they're full of good stuff. Maybe that's an energy that you need to realize as well, is that there's been a transformation, and you might be a little tattered right now, but it doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you, vulnerability doesn't make it, it's not bad. Okay. It's not bad. Empowerment, number 18, it breaks to a 9. 9 is a beautiful, independent energy, but that is greater part of the whole. Expansion, together, prosper, divine. Look at this. This really reminds me of the Strength card. See this lion and this girl, they both got the same hairdo. They're looking fantastic. Maybe they're different species, but they still look fabulous blowing in the wind, and they're surrounded by sunflowers and butterflies. And there's this like partridge flying around, and there's a full moon in the background. Okay, so this full moon allowed us to receive some unlikely message, which let us let our hair down and just come to terms with the things. Sunflowers are a really beautiful flower that represent our ability to follow the light, follow the nourishment. Yeah, it brings to mind like migrative animals, like elk, for example, in the north of Canada will travel searching for food, right? I mean, the theories about Pangea and the division of continents and stuff like that, how certain animals got trapped on land masses with the Bering Strait. The Bering Strait used to be a landmass between, Alaska and parts of Asia and Eurasia, like Russia and all of that bit. Well, it doesn't become a land crossing anymore, but there used to be migrations that would go across that, is the theory that is what kind of brought certain species to certain parts of the world. Either way, it's about following the sun. Follow the sun. The sunflower always follows the sun. It always faces the direction of the light. And this is showing me that once that you let your hair down and realize that even though things look a little differently than you expected them to, you're able to release things yourself much more to the powers that be and go with the flow of the universe. Under here we have balance here, harmony, equilibrium, centered, calm. This is saying that the Libra season was very important for us to find balance, and especially with regards to Mars in Libra, and this Pluto energy of today. Like, it's really, really beautiful stuff, and it's brought extreme balance where there was vastly overtipped scales, I'm hearing, in the past, and you've managed to, albeit yes, struggle through the process to find balance. You've found it, and that's the important part. Now you're actually coming in. I'm hearing a lot of you are coming into terms with the fact that, you know what, yes, it beat the shit out of me, but there's so much beauty in those lessons. It's gorgeous. Okay, express love and this moment, guys. This has been an overlying energy for weeks now. Somebody is being encouraged to make a move and express their love to somebody else. If you know that it's you, just do it, man. It's this moment. It's right now. I'm hearing that it's pretty much the last chance for romance. Like, we've been saying it for some time, but it's last call. It's the last fucking call. You might not be able to get this back again if you don't give it a go now. Healing and sketchy. Okay, some of you guys have done a lot of auto writing. You've done a lot of drawing. You've done a lot of creative things in order to do some healing, and it's really beautiful. You were doubting the capacity for these mundane tasks to actually heal you for some time, but they've been wonders. Service and intimacy. You needed a full service, yeah, and part of the crux of it was this intimacy problems. So you didn't understand your sacral chakra. You were overexpressed greatly in your sacral chakra, and you were seeing passion is only sex. Yeah, and there's so much more to that. Intimacy is such. What is that book here? Hold on a second. I'm sorry, I have to do it. I know I hate doing this, but now I'm trying to remember. I think it was sorry, Peg. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Yes, okay. So, if you're being asked to take a deep look at issues of sexuality and intimacy, drawing this glyph suggests that you desire to share your innermost self and that you yearn for a deeper connection and intimacy. If you are caught up in reactive or volcanic patterns of anger, be willing to look at how your desire for intimacy may not be fulfilled. In this shadow are issues of becoming enmeshed in attachment to the physical body or consumed with sensual desires. Do you over-identify with how your body looks and how others perceive or judge you? Chichan, which is the red dragon in the Mayan calendar, reminds you to use the wisdom. Sorry, I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm going to hold on. Chichan. Sorry, Chichan. Chichan reminds you to use the wisdom of your body as a tool and guide for transformation. Explore the body as senses as a mean of activating higher consciousness. Pig, don't you start screaming, please. Oh, it's not that part. There's still something more. I'm sorry. I'm just like, there's something really important that it talked about. There we go. Revealed in these shadows. So Chikchan offers transformation and healing. Revealed in these shadows, issues of sexuality is a desire for deeper union, love, and intimacy. Some people feel intimacy only during infatuation or romantic interludes and lovemaking. However, intimacy is actually the desire to share the innermost parts of ourself. Intimacy is the mutual connection between essences. It's the ability to acknowledge the depths of another person, and it can be fostered through many kinds of sharing, including those feelings and vulnerabilities, warmth and affection, and hopes and fears. If you're caught up in reactive patterns of anger, be willing to look at how your desire for intimacy may not be fulfilled. Explore what it means to be intimate with another, remembering that intimacy is an open door to higher states of consciousness. You can experience intimacy with a pet. You can experience intimacy with all kinds of different things, but you needed a full service of your intimacy. Some of you guys are curious. Go check out the Mayan calendar, the 13 moon calendar. What's it called? I can't remember what the website is called. lawoftime.org, I think, or 13moon.org. Anyway, check out the Mayan calendar. There might be something in it for you. But I talked a little bit about this Kundalini awakening, and it's showing us that intimacy is not just sex. All right, and I've been talking about this for some time. Understand that intimacy is your desire to connect truly to somebody, and yeah, you can do that through sex. But if you're feeling unsatisfied, even though you're having loads of sex, it's because there's more deep desire for intimacy that just using someone's body as a means to get pleasure is it's not the way to find it. It's about the connection. All right, what you resist persists, and take. Okay, you've been resisting taking some cues from the universe. The universe is offering you a gift right now, and you've been resisting taking it. All right. But the thing is the longer that you resist, the harder, stronger it's going to come at you and try and get you to see that you need to do it. The wheel of fortune turns whether you like it or not. And what you resist persists, my friends. If you're in a cycle of anger, like they said, or a cycle of worrying too much about what other people think of you or what your body looks like or whatever, it's because there's something to do with intimacy that you're just not seeing. And that has to change. So I hope that helps. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll see you soon. But until then, I'm sorry for anything you're going through, or if I've made you feel a certain way. Thank you for being a beautiful being and lending your energy to this circuit I hold so dear. Thank you to your guides, my guides, the ascended masters, angels, ancestors, whatever energies were involved help us find these beautiful messages, clear and concise for our greatest good whenever we find them. Everything is timeless. If you were drawn here, it was for a reason, whether it be right now, in the near future, in the distant future. I love you to the moon and the stars and infinity and beyond and back, and I accept this, and I hope you do.